And they are going to be the birds that's doing that typical hovering. Now she gave an absolutely fantastic example there. Nice rapid wing beats, keeping herself up in the air quite expertly. And kestrels are birds that really thrive on the wind. The kestrel here, have I gone quiet? Can anybody hear me? I'm still a little bit loud. So the kestrel here is a really, really energetic bird. She's going to be flapping her wings 6 to 8 times every single second just to stay afloat in the air. Now that's quite a lot of effort, it's quite a lot of work. It's not an easy thing for them to do. And so they have to catch quite a lot of food to be able to do that. Now your average kestrel weighs anywhere between 6 to 9 ounces, but that's not a lot of weight, that's not a very, very big bulk that they have. And so they have to catch a decent amount of food. Now she's going to be catching 1 or 2 mice every single day, on the absolute minimum 1 every day. And that's about 20 to 25% of her body weight, which is actually quite a lot. Although it may only be 1 mouse, you imagine trying to eat 20% of your body weight, that's going to be quite a lot of roast dinners. So they eat a lot of food, they have to expend quite a lot of energy when they're flying. And you can see that she is quite energetic, nice wing beats, tail fanned, just catching the wind there. And they are a very, very, very efficient bird in the wind. They're very aerodynamic, they keep themselves afloat, and the idea is to keep that head as still as possible. What she's doing is she's looking for rodents, but she's got good eyesight. However, she can't see through things. So although she's got some fantastic eyes, she can't see through long grass, mud banks or anything like that. So even though she's hovering directly above the long grass, she's very unlikely to be able to actually see a rodent running around in that undergrowth. So instead, she looks for something much, much easier to see, I'm sure you'll agree, and that's mouse wee. That's an awful lot easier to see than a mouse itself, or at least it is for her, because mouse wee shines in ultraviolet light, and when the sun shines down on that urine, it reflects that ultraviolet light, and then she can see that. So she sees the UV spectrum, she's looking down in all of that long grass for crisscross trails of mouse wee, and absolutely her hope is at the end of one of those trails is a puddle of urine and a mouse itself. And that's her goal when she's out there hovering. Now, just because they're designed to catch rodents doesn't mean that's all they're going to catch. They will catch insects, they will catch some birds as well, especially in the early spring where you've got mayflies erupting from rivers. They'll go after those, and dragonflies and all sorts of meals. So they're very, very good little hunters, and they're really efficient things. They don't waste their energy if they don't have to. If it comes a day where there's no wind, she's not going to try and make her own. She's not going to sit up there flapping her wings for no reason. What she's going to do instead is sit on a power line and look down, because that's the next best thing. She also doesn't really waste any energy, but she can't see too far around. So you can see, head nice and still, wings beating, tail fanned, and then dive down when she sees her food. So really impressive little birds. They're quite useful in terms of keeping rodent populations down. They are a really, really good bird by the roadside. They're also, interestingly, one of the only birds that really benefits by emissions from your cars. So if you've got a very old Jeep or a Land Rover that just chugs out black plumes of smoke every time you turn it on, you, sir, are helping this kestrel, because your emissions stain mouse wee brighter, so it's much easier for her to see. You may be killing the planet, but you're helping the kestrel, and that's at least one good point for it. So they're very cool birds. I'm going to do one more little hover just over this corner so everybody gets a sort of mouse's eye view. I'll let the helicopter go over first. And then I'm going to move on to something much slower, but much bigger. Just let go of that. Now you can see Typhoon, she keeps looking up, she's turning her head to one side, and that's basically her hitting the zoom button. They have really good vision, but if they turn their head and they look through one eye, they can zoom in almost 10 times the distance. So really, really good eyesight. Now, one more hover over these guys. If she comes right above you, don't look up with your mouth open. load of hovering, really energetic stuff. And you can see she's tucking into the food on that lure each time she comes down, and then I'm giving her a bit of an exchange. I'm swapping that over. I'm never stealing from it. I'm always giving her a bit of food that she wants in return for letting that lure go. So there we go, that's the Kestrel. I will pop her back down and I'll move on to something, as I said, much bigger but a lot slower.